Right now on News 3, your travel forecast for the extended Thanksgiving holiday weekend, including a chance for snow in the coming days.
And $1 million donation. Aaron Rodgers, as well as members of the Milwaukee Brewers, pitching in to help with the California wildfire relief effort.
Later, a final halftime march. Hear from UW band director Mike Leckrone and what he says he will miss most about teaching at UW.
This is News 3 at 10.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Wisconsinites are taking to the skies and the roads to leave for their Thanksgiving festivities.
But many others are using those to come home as well. Amy Reed joins us live at Dane County Regional Airport to tell us about all the homecomings happening there. Amy?
Yeah, the rush of flights is just about over now, but earlier flights were coming in every 24 minutes on average, which means families would crowd here to watch as their friends, their brothers, sisters, and their sons and daughters to come home. I'm excited. Homecomings have the type of energy you can feel.
I'm really excited because I haven't seen him in like a month.
It's an anticipation the Bryans know well because today they've done it twice as they wait for one brother to fly in from Phoenix.
Yeah, 20 after is what it says, and on FlightAware there it looks like they're in Wisconsin, so should be any time.
They think back on this morning, grabbing David from Milwaukee after his flight from Ohio. And even though some of them have spent all day in one airport or another.
I'd rather be doing some other things, but I'm excited to see my brother come home, so I haven't seen him in a couple months.
The excitement is hard to tame.
It was hard to keep the secret.
Especially for Sandy Snyder.
Oh, they're going to be excited. We haven't seen her since July, since the summertime.
On top of the anticipation of seeing her daughter Stephanie, she's planning a surprise.
She actually planned the whole thing and just asked if, I would come pick her up. So, yeah, no, I don't feel sneaky at all.
Both families wait for the 420 from Phoenix. Until finally, over the escalators, they're home. Happy to have them back.
Happy to have them home. Happy to take them home.
Just in time for Thanksgiving. Airlines are expecting 2.5 million flyers a day through the weekend, and Sunday could mean as many as 3 million going through TSA checkpoints. So these are the stories to look out for if you're out traveling. It might take away some of that holiday stress.
And safe travels to everybody who is either by road or by air this holiday weekend. Amy Reed live at Dane County Regional. Amy, thank you.
AAA predicts 54 million Americans will travel this year, the majority by car. For anyone using the interstate south of Madison, there may be some delays this weekend due to the ongoing construction. Workers are away from the I-3990 expansion project this week, but the 55-mile-per-hour speed limit remains. State troopers recommend leaving early and giving yourself plenty of time to arrive if you need to travel through that area. And just in time for Thanksgiving and Small Business Saturday, Monroe Street is now back open. It's been 8 months since cars were allowed to drive in both directions along the street. Madison Metro bus routes will start up once again tomorrow on Monroe Street.
All right, all the local traffic concerns may seem minimal compared to what you're looking at right here. This is a live look at Los Angeles International Airport. It has been similar to this for, about the past day and a half or so. So, always could be worse.
Talk about perspective.
Stuck in a little traffic. It's been like that for literally for the last day and a half. Let's see if the weather will cooperate for travel around here. Meteorologist Dana Fulton joins us with our first alert forecast. Dana?
That video just makes my blood pressure rise. For us, it's a very different situation here. Looking at our Doppler track, things are pretty smooth if you're getting ready to hop on the road for your Thanksgiving travels this evening. I know it's a little late, but there are some folks doing it. Things look okay. Same goes for tomorrow morning if anyone's traveling early in the day for Thanksgiving. We had some flurries earlier, but nothing to amount to really any accumulation. Temperatures will be cold overnight. 25 degrees is where we're at in Madison, closer to 28 in Janesville, and 27 right now in Mineral Point. With that breeze coming from the east northeast, so it's cooler air moving on in. That coupled with the wind speeds right now coming at about 10 miles an hour in Madison, our wind chill feels much cooler than where our actual temperatures are at. So if you are heading outside for any reasons this evening or even early tomorrow morning, know that it's going to be very cold. Definitely make sure you have a extra layer on. In the mid-20s for our overnight lows, West will be close to even at 7 o'clock in the morning. We may have a few pockets of sunshine for your Turkey Day, but overall pretty cloudy sky and some pretty cool weather on the way for us for tomorrow. Showers and snowfall definitely in the forecast, including an alert day for this weekend. We'll break that all down coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Dana. If your weekend plans depend on the weather, check out our Channel 3000 weather and traffic app. It includes our 12-hour and 10-day forecast and up-to-the-minute traffic information for free. Just search Channel 3000 in your app store. Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers is donating $1 million to help the victims of wildfires in California.
Rodgers, born and raised not far from there in Chico, California. It is expected to rain very hard in Northern California during the next few days, and that'll help put out the fire, but could also bring mudslides and other problems. At least 81 people have died in the fire. About 870 people remain unaccounted for. Members of the Brewers are also pitching in to help today on Twitter. Ryan Braun, Christian Yelich, Mike Moustakas, and the son of Brewers principal owner Mike Attanasio. They're all from California. They announced they're partnering with the YMCA out there to help raise money. And as of tonight, they've helped raise about $105,000. An extraordinary and rare public dispute between the president and Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts started on Tuesday when the president called Ninth Circuit U.S. District Judge John Tigar an Obama judge. Chief Justice Roberts responded with this brief statement, quote, "We do not have Obama judges or Trump judges, Bush judges, or Clinton judges. What we have is an extraordinary group of dedicated judges doing their level best to do equal right to those appearing before them." Within hours, the president fired back on Twitter, writing, quote, "Sorry, Chief Justice John Roberts, but you do indeed have Obama judges, and they have a much different point of view than the people who are charged with the safety of our country," end quote. This is not the president's first time being critical of the Chief Justice. In 2012, when the Supreme Court upheld the Affordable Care Act, President Trump, then just a regular citizen, tweeted, quote, "Congratulations to John Roberts for making Americans hate the Supreme Court because of his BS," end quote.
Governor-elect Tony Evers and his wife Kathy spent part of the day visiting patients at the American Family Children's Hospital here in Madison, kids who will be spending Thanksgiving away from home. Afterwards, during a press conference, he was asked about his replacement as state superintendent.
We're looking at all options. It's very likely that I will appoint somebody. I don't see an overwhelming need to have a special election, but we're looking at all options.
He says those options include internally and externally. Governor-elect Evers will be sworn in on January 7th. A Fitchburg police officer is injured after an alleged drunk driver hit his squad car last night along South Fish Hatchery Road.
An officer had pulled over along the side of the road to assist with a disabled vehicle, and that is when Fitchburg PD says 50-year-old Andrew DeMarco of Fitchburg drove his pickup truck into the rear of that squad car. Both the officer and a citizen who was doing a ride-along with the officer were taken to the hospital with minor injuries and released. Police say DeMarco was drunk and arrested him on 2 counts of OWI causing injury and 2 counts of operating with a prohibited alcohol concentration causing injury. This is video from Milwaukee. A brawl broke out during a sentencing this afternoon for a former daycare owner accused of reckless homicide in the death of a 7-week-old baby in her care. 37-year-old Claudette Mitchell was given a 3.5-year sentence. Following the ruling, the altercation broke out between 50 members of Mitchell's and the victims' families and friends.
The Allied Drive neighborhood is getting a big gift this holiday season, something they've needed for years, a grocery store. In just about 1 month, owner Miriam Maldonado says the doors of Luna's Groceries will be open. She's putting the finishing touches on the now bright orange and green building on Red Arrow Trail. The Allied Drive neighborhood hasn't had a grocery store since 2009 when Cub Foods closed. A Walgreens tried to fill the need but closed a couple years ago.
So a couple years ago, when the Walgreens closed, I put forward funding from the city to be able to help provide access to taxis and bus fare so that people would be able to get access to food. But obviously that was never enough.
This store is years in the making for the city, giving $157,000 to Luna's from the Healthy Retail Access Program. It is the largest amount given from that program. Governor Walker is ordering all flags to be flown at half-staff this Sunday, November 25th, for a local airman whose remains were just found. The governor's executive order says Private First Class Joseph Natvick was flying a cargo plane during World War II when it went down in a remote area of India. His remains were just recovered and identified this September. On Sunday, he will be buried with full military honors in Columbus.
The Badger football team wraps up the regular season Saturday afternoon against the Minnesota Gophers. It also marks the last game for a UW institution. Saturday's game will also be the final performance for band director Mike Leckrone. He has been with the university for 50 years. Today on Live at 4, he talked with our Mark Kane and Susan Simon about what it means for him and what it'll be like during that performance.
Tell you the truth, I can't imagine it either. I can't get my hands around what it's going to be like because, as you say, in normal situations, and when the seniors graduate, you know it's the last year for the seniors to be in the band. That's always a very emotional time. So this means it's the end for all of us. So I know it's going to be different than anything I've ever experienced, and never before and never again, I guess.
Mike says his most memorable moment was his first Rose Bowl. That was 1994. The thing he'll miss most, he says, are the kids. This weekend will be his last home football game, but he will still be around for the basketball and the hockey seasons. Still ahead tonight at 10, your updated extended weekend forecast and if the weather will cooperate for Thanksgiving.
But first, an everlasting love story for 5 area brothers and their families. This News 3 exclusive is next. Welcome back. There is a family in southwest Wisconsin that's marking a big milestone ×5.
It's a celebration the rest of us can only hope to make it to, and many of us won't even have the opportunity. Leah Linscheid traveled back to her hometown of Highland to bring us a story a half a century or more in the making.
Inside this small town is where a big love story begins.
Oh, that was a very cold day in November.
Highland happens to be home to the Beckus family.
This is our wedding picture.
Arnie and Ruth.
1959, November 14th.
But to hear their first chapter, we met in Madison. for a celebratory lunch of sorts.
It will soon be 59 years in 3 weeks.
Married nearly 6 decades, they're celebrating a milestone a little early.
What was good about being married 59 years?
Well, it's better than not being married 59 years, I'll tell you that. No.
But this isn't the only Beckus couple counting their blessings.
Well, let's see. 57 years.
Arnie's brother Verge and wife
I'll be
Lana
57 in December.
have their own story to celebrate.
Here's a wedding picture.
Both marriages are well over that half-century mark, and this fairy tale family romance is nowhere near the end. There are a couple more characters we should introduce you to.
52 years. We've been married 56 years.
August?
In August.
June 18th,
50 years.
and 66. I better get this right.
That's Everett and Janet, Delbert and Joan, and Norman and Yvonne. All 5 brothers, married to their significant others.
Great.
For 50 years or more.
Couldn't have been any better.
I think it's wonderful. I can't imagine that we did this.
I think we're really lucky to end up with 5 women that have a lot of patience like that.
You might wonder where these boys got the resolve to write their stories half a century long each.
I think a lot was in the upbringing, too.
They attribute it to their hometown and the century-old farm they grew up on.
You had to do a lot of work.
Work ethic.
I think that really helped us growing up on the farm. To learn how to work and give and take a little bit.
It's not often these days you'll find 5 couples 50 years in love.
Oh, there's a handsome boy.
Is he still handsome?
No, some days.
50 plus. 50 plus.
50 plus.
And for the rest of us, hoping to have our own happily ever afters, there's a lesson to be learned from these couples, still working on the ending to theirs.
Just work it out. It takes a lot of work.
I think it's trust and respect.
And I think you gotta wanna do it. It's easy to say, slam the door and leave, I think, nowadays.
Love and respect each other.
That's right.
That's the thing. And it doesn't always go the way you want it, but you got to give in sometimes and help each other out one way or the other.
In Highland, I'm Leah Lynchide for WISC News 3.
Those guys know how to say the right thing.
They do.
Let's go to Dana Fulton. She joins us with our outlook for the holiday weekend.
So we have good news for Thanksgiving. Unfortunately, though, travel plans later into the weekend make it just a little messy for us, especially as we look towards late in the day on Friday and into Sunday. Our Doppler track for the last several hours has been nice and calm, so anyone who's trying to wrap up some last-minute Thanksgiving plans, I myself need to get gravy on the way home. You should be okay. Again, things are looking okay for us right now. Heading into tomorrow, we are talking about a cloudy sky for the course of the day. No immediate fronts moving in for our Thanksgiving. It is going to stay chilly outside, though. Temps will be just a few degrees warmer, but overall it is still going to be fairly cool as we head through our Thanksgiving afternoon. That breeze coming from the northeast overnight. Temperatures are going to fall a few more degrees for us. With that cloud deck overhead, it doesn't really allow us to fall back into the teens, though. That's the good news. 24 is what we're looking at for an overnight low in Madison. By tomorrow, a mostly cloudy sky, potentially a few pockets of sunshine mixed in there. Temps will be in the mid-30s for afternoon highs, mid to upper 30s for much of the area. That's the good news. Black Friday, we start off with some clouds, rain showers building in later on in the evening. Again, temps throughout the afternoon on Thanksgiving will be in the 30s. Landing close to 36 for our afternoon highs, with the chance to have some really strong wind gusts again tomorrow in the upper teens, close to 20 miles per hour. Because of that wind gust potential, our wind chills are going to put us in the mid-20s. Even though the actual temps say mid-30s, do know if you're kicking the little ones outside for a little bit, they'll definitely need to be layered up for the day. Heading into Sunday, that's the potential for some dicey weather for us. Unfortunately, we may see some very heavy snowfall, accumulating snowfall for much of southern Wisconsin. This is one of our models. Our GFS brings that snow line throughout the afternoon and evening and then clears out overnight. Our GFS potential right now, a little on the lower side, even though it still puts us at just about 2 1/4 inches in Madison of accumulation throughout the evening on Sunday, a little closer to 3 1/2 in Milwaukee. Our European model is a little more generous with those snowfall totals. That snow track comes in the afternoon. The heavier stuff slides right over Madison, lingers into early Monday morning, and then finally clears out by Monday afternoon. Because of that longer timeline, right now it's showing numbers a little closer to a foot of snowfall in Madison. Now, again, that is a little generous for us, but that's kind of what our range is right now. Because that generous track, we do have an alert day in the forecast for Sunday, leaning a little more towards the potential to have 1 to 3 inches, though. That's kind of what we're looking at. Still several days out. We'll keep a closer eye on timing as we get closer. 24 overnight low. Looking ahead to tomorrow, planning on temperatures in the mid-30s for us. The good news, we are going to warm up as we head into the weekend in the mid-40s. A little closer to average, actually, for Saturday and Sunday. Sunday, we do have that alert day for the snow that's coming through, and it's going to cool us down quite a bit as we head into next week.
So enjoy that balmy weather.
Yes, yes, definitely.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Dana. The Badger men's basketball team gets off to a great start at its tournament. Life is rough in the Bahamas. The story coming up. Highlights ahead in sports.
The Badger men's basketball team is spending Thanksgiving week in the Bahamas, and everything's working out pretty well so far. The Badgers played Stanford today. Aleem Ford wasn't supposed to return from his knee injury until next month, but he plays 7 minutes today. Oh, boy, it got dark, and then the lights came on. He had no points, 1 rebound. Big story for the Badgers, though. Nathan Reavers, he ties Brad Sellers' Wisconsin school record with 9 block shots. Ethan Happ had another Ethan Happ kind of day, too, another double-double. Happ with 16 points and 12 rebounds. And the Badgers pulled away late. And that's pretty backdoor play. Happ waits for the cut. Brad Davison makes the cut and one. And the Badgers win game one of the Bad Boy Mowers Battle for Atlantis. The final score is Wisconsin 62, Stanford 46. They win to go to 4-0. Demetric Trice joined Happ with 16 points. Brad Davison had 14 points. Khalil Iverson, 12 rebounds. Tomorrow afternoon, the Badgers play Oklahoma at 12:30 Madison time on ESPN. A lot of people thought number 1 ranked Duke was invincible. Well, they are vincible. Third-ranked Gonzaga holds on to beat the Dukies in the championship of the Maui Jim Maui Invitational. The Zags win 89-87. It's the first time ever Duke has lost at the Maui Invitational. The Blue Devils are now 17-1 all-time in that Hawaii tournament. NBA, the Bucks play the Portland Trailblazers in Milwaukee tonight. The Bucks have a number of slow starts lately, but they're not tonight. They're up 22 at half. Giannis scored 4 points in the final 2 seconds of the second quarter. He had 33 points, 16 rebounds, 9 assists. Final score, Bucks 143, Blazers 100. The Packers have designated former Whitewater wide receiver Jay Kumerow for a return from injured reserve. That roster move officially ends the season for wide receiver Geronimo Allison on IR. Now, Kumerow practiced in Green Bay today, meaning he could play Sunday night against the Vikings in Minneapolis. Kumerow was the bright, shiny thing in the preseason, getting 2 long touchdown passes, but he hurt his shoulder celebrating by leaping into the stands at Lambeau. Kumerow has never played in an NFL regular season game, but today puts him 1 step closer.
Feels good. I've been, going week by week, just doing all I can, just waiting for my time, my opportunity, and you can't jump the gun, and you got to be patient sometimes. And I was just, waiting for the opportunity, and now they got me back out there practicing, and I'm feeling good. Yeah, legs are fresh.
He's a talented guy, and I think a lot of us were wondering if he was going to be back on the field this year, but he understands the game. He has a great sense about him in space. He can get open. He was incredible in training camp, earning a spot on the squad.
Yesterday, the Chicago Bears were cautiously optimistic about quarterback Mitchell Trubisky playing tomorrow in Detroit. Well, now they're not so optimistic. Trubisky probably won't play. He's doubtful with a shoulder injury. That means Chase Daniel will probably be the Bears' starting quarterback tomorrow. Daniel would make his first NFL start since 2014 when he was the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback, when Bears head coach Matt Nagy was the Chiefs' offensive coordinator. And here's tomorrow's NFL Thanksgiving Day schedule. Starts right here on Channel 3 with those Bears at Detroit, 11:30 a.m. Washington at Dallas starts at 3:30 on Fox. The Falcons and Saints tomorrow night on NBC at 7:20. So get your fantasy football lineups in early. And we'll be right back.
Dana's here with the final check of your forecast.
So your Thanksgiving forecast looks fine. Temperatures will be in the mid-30s, so a few degrees warmer for us with a cloudy sky. Black Friday starts off okay, but then we have showers coming in the afternoon. Totals for that rainfall will be around 1/4 of an inch, so just adding on to what's already been a very, very soggy year for us. The showers wrap up early in the day on Saturday. That alert day on Sunday is for significant rainfall. Totals will be nailing that down over the next few days.
Safe travels.
Do something good.
Now.